Hi everyone, Suey here. So something that I've talked about and have been wanting to do forever on this channel is to do some sort of author feature or author highlight or something. And I just haven't quite figured out how to go about doing that, making it semi-interesting. And so I just haven't done it all these years, and I've thought about it from day one. But the other day, I was watching something and somebody suggested doing kind of like a PowerPoint for videos. And so I thought maybe that would work for author features and highlights. So I'm going to do my first one today on one of my favorite authors, Kasie West, and kind of do a little practice run here. And let me know what you think. Let me know how it goes. As I put this together, I was realizing I don't really know like what we want to know about authors besides, who they are and what they've written. So I'm going to just talk through this kind of PowerPoint, go faceless for a minute here, and I would just love some feedback on what you think and how I can make this better. Or if you think this would work and I should do some other authors like this, because it's kind of fun to put together. Yeah, let me know. Let's go for it.
Okay, so let me tell you about Kasie West. This is one of my favorite authors. I became aware of her many years ago when we found her first books, and I have just been following her ever since. So let me tell you a little bit about her. So she lives in Central California. She has 4 kids. Most of them are grown by now, I think. She might still have one at home. She's written 17 books as of this recording in 2025. She's mostly known for her sweet YA romance books, but her first 2 books are a speculative duology where the kids have superpowers. You can find her on Instagram. She's very active there at Kasie West. And one little tidbit that she says about herself on her website is that she loves to go vacationing on the coast, and she goes there to escape the heat of the inland where she lives, a little bit more inland. I think most of her books are set in California also, maybe not all of them, but she really uses a lot of that setting for her stories. The first books that she published were this duology that I was just talking about, Pivot Point and Split Second, published in 2013 and 2014. In Pivot Point, we meet our main character, Addie. She has this special super ability of being able to look ahead whenever she has to make a decision, to look ahead and see the consequences of that decision. And so her parents split up, and she's trying to decide, should she stay with her dad or stay with her mom? And so she can look ahead and see what happens with either of those decisions. And so the book is basically those 2 scenarios. So we jump back and forth between her life with her mom and her life with her dad, which is completely different and crazy. And there's 2 different guys in both of these worlds of hers. And then in Split Second, she has to kind of live with the decision that she made. And the guy that she met in the other scenario, she also meets in this book, but she's living the other life now, and so he doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know who he is, but she sort of has these weird memories, and she has a friend who can restore memories, and so she is thinking she might have her friend help her figure out kind of what's going on, because she's very confused about these feelings that she's having. It's a great duology. Totally love it, and I really wish Kasie West would do more like this. But I'm not sure she has it in her plans. Oh, and also these 2 are one of my favorites of hers, yes. Let's see, we've got next The Distance Between Us, published 2013. This is when she started doing her sweet YA romances. And her books are often following a certain trope, and this one is the rich boy, poor girl trope, if you're familiar with that one. So our girl is working in this porcelain shop, and the boy comes in to buy something, and she automatically thinks of him as a certain stereotype because he's the rich boy, but they slowly become friends, and she finds out that maybe he's not quite like she expected. But she's not sure because she has been warned to not trust rich boys. And then after that, we have On the Fence, published 2014. This one's trope is friends to lovers and boy next door. This was also one of my favorites of hers, and this is one I hope to reread soon, just for the fun of it. So this is a story of our girl who is raised by her dad and a whole bunch of brothers because her mom has passed away. And the boy next door is kind of part of their group. She thinks of him as like a brother because he's friends with all the brothers, and so she's just kind of grown up with him, being part of her life. And but they often meet at the fence to talk. And as she starts struggling with things, as she's growing older, and she doesn't have a mom in her life, and she gets a job at a boutique, and she doesn't know even anything about it because she's sort of a tomboy. And so she ends up talking to this guy at the fence a lot more and a lot more and a lot more. And then she starts thinking maybe he's not quite like a brother anymore to her. And it's really awesome and fun. And it's also a kind of a backstory about what's happened with her mom too, I think, if I remember right. The next year we have The Fill-In Boyfriend. And this is pretty obvious. The trope is fake relationship, where our girl is about ready to introduce her boyfriend to her family, and then they break up. And she decides to ask this random dude, who she doesn't even know, to fill in as her boyfriend. And then he ends up using her to fill in as his girlfriend for an event where he needs her. And of course, they end up falling in love, and her ex-boyfriend is trying to expose all this fakeness that's going on. And it's really awesome. P.S. I Like You, published 2016. This is also a really fun one where the trope is mistaken identity and enemies to lovers. It's very similar to You've Got Mail, where they start writing to each other on a desk. This is funny because it's on a desk, and they of course don't know who each other is, but in real life, the boy that's writing is somebody she does not like. So, yes, it's very fun. And I consider this one of my favorites also. By Your Side, published 2017. Let's see, trope, forced proximity. Okay, they get stuck in the library. Right. And she thinks that this guy is going to come rescue her. That's not quite her boyfriend, but she thinks he's going to come rescue her, but he doesn't seem to be coming very quickly. In the meantime, she's stuck with this guy who she doesn't really like, that she thinks she's got all these preconceived notions about him. And they start becoming friends while they survive this weekend in the library, basically. Oh, I love it. Okay, Lucky in Love, published 2017. This one I think is when she wins the lottery. I'm not sure what trope I would consider this one, but she wins the lottery and everyone is now asking, how that happens, and everyone is now wanting her money, except her coworker, who she thinks is really great, and he doesn't know about the lottery. So she's kind of sticking to him because he doesn't know anything about this lottery thing. This one does not stand in my mind as much as some of the others do. Also in 2017, we have Love, Life, and the List. This is when our girl is like an artist, but she's been told her art has no heart. So she makes a list to try to have some life experiences, and she has a month to accomplish them. And of course, one thing on the list is to fall in love. I think this one is also a friends to lovers, because she asks her friend to help her accomplish all these things on the list. Listen to Your Heart. This one, I guess I don't have really a trope on this one either. The girl ends up hosting a podcast. She's kind of an introvert, so she feels like it's kind of weird that she's talking so much. And she gets a caller who's confessing his love, and she thinks he's confessing his love to her best friend. So she is really excited for her friend, but she ends up kind of liking the guy herself. But it turns out, never mind. You have to read it. Fame, Fate, and the First Kiss, published 2019. So now this one is sort of connected to Love, Life, and the List, and then there's another one later on. There's 3 books. They're sort of connected, kind of in the same world, but they don't really have anything to do with each other. Kind of companion books. Anyways, I didn't have a trope for this one either, but this is where a girl gets to star in a movie, and she's really struggling, and so her dad hires a tutor to help her with this, with her scripts and things like that. But she kind of starts falling in love with the tutor. Maybe this time, 2019. This is the one about our girl who it's laid out in months. So every month is a new event. Helps with event planning. And then there's this guy who also, he's like the son of the chef that's part of all their event planning they're doing. And so whenever they get together to do these events, they kind of banter and conflict and have issues with each other. So it's kind of an enemies to lovers. So every month a new event happens, and stuff happens with them, and so by the time the year is over, maybe she's decided that he's not so bad after all. Moment of Truth, published 2020. This is the one that's about it's connected to the Love, Life, and the List world, I guess, also. But this one's about where our girl is a real serious swimmer, and there's this somebody who keeps dressing up crazily and keeps interrupting all their sporting events, including her meets, and she's really annoyed by this, and she's determined to figure out who is doing this. And then this one gets a little deeper actually than it sounds, and along the way she starts kind of learning more about herself and some stuff that's happened in the past that's been kind of plaguing her for a while. The next year we have Sunkissed. This is a summer romance where the girl and her sister go on a camping retreat for the summer. She's really angry about it, and then she ends up meeting one of the staff members and kind of falling in love with him. I think, if I remember right, he might be a member of the band that's there too, or there's something about a band, I feel like. Places We've Never Been, 2022. This is a road trip one. Look at all those tropes this one covers. Second chance love, road trip, romance. And they were friends to lovers, and then they became enemies, so now they're enemies to lovers. So it's friends to lovers to enemies to lovers. So, and second chance, yes. So these guys have been friends forever. Their families are friends. They grew up together. They've done all these things. And then something happened, and they fell away from each other and weren't friends for a long time, and now they're forced to be on this family trip again with each other. It's awesome. I feel like this one is a favorite also, yes. And Borrow My Heart, 2023. Fake relationship again, and kind of mistaken identity because the boy does not really know who she is, I think. She's pretending to be somebody else. So he is going to meet his online lover, and this person does not show up, and she overhears his friends heckling him about it, and so she pretends to be the online lover, and so then they become connected that way, but he doesn't know who she really is, right? Fake relationship and mistaken identity, kind of. And also they work at a pet store, so there's lots of animals in this one too, if you love that kind of thing. Here's the most recent one that I just read, Better Than Revenge, which is about, is revenge a trope? I considered it a trope, I guess. The boyfriend at the beginning of the book steals our girl's spot on the podcasting team, which is her dream. She's been working towards this for her whole life, and she's really annoyed with him, so she dumps him, and then she gets his arch nemesis, who is the kicker of the football team, to help her learn how to kick a football so she can steal his dreams of being on the football team. And you can probably guess what happens between the arch nemesis kicker and our girl. And those are the books so far that Kasie West has written. Oh, there's one more that I have not read, Lonely Hearts Day, published 2024. It is a novella about Valentine's Day. And I have not read this one, so I need to find it and read it. All the rest of them I have read. And what's next for Kasie West? Who knows? I don't know. More YA romance, I am sure. I was hoping for more speculative fiction. I met her just a while back at a writers' conference, and I think I asked her about it, and she just looked at me like, maybe someday. But she did announce that she is writing her first adult novel, and so I am really, really looking forward to that. I hope if you are new to Kasie West and sometimes are in the mood for just these fun, fluffy YA romances, or maybe check out those first 2 books that are also fun YA romances, but with that supernatural element to them, then you will give her a chance and see what you think. Thank you for watching. Until next time, happy reading!